Welcome to the Voices That Propel Us, stories of justice, action, and community, a space where justice meets action and community voices rise. Each episode, we bring you stories from the front lines, changemakers, disruptors, and everyday heroes who are building a more just, equitable, and liberated world. This is more than a podcast. It's a call to listen, learn, and move together. You were just listening to music from the incredibly talented Stephen Kong. You can find him on Spotify and Bandcamp. Today we have with us Alan, aka the Paraclete. The Paraclete has always been a very curious person. The most mysterious thing he has ever encountered is us humans and the world which lives within us. Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this platform with me. I think you're such a beautiful, amazing individual. And, I think you do such amazing work. I can't wait to learn more about it. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for inviting me in your wonderful podcast. And I hope we can make a difference in the world today.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what my hope is for this podcast, because I think there's a lot of negativity out there, a lot of division and everything, and I'm hoping that through these conversations with beautiful people, I can put more beauty, hope, and love into the world. So yeah, I'm sure that this conversation will also contribute to that.
Yes, and we need to understand why all this confusion, this negativity that's going on.
Right.
This lack of unity, it's a part of the process of us becoming more mature and understanding that we need to get back to the basics of what it is, what it means to be human, so that we can evolve as a species. And that's one of the main things that I enjoy talking about and sharing with everybody.
Okay, wonderful. I'm excited to delve deeper into that. So, just starting off, you describe yourself as deeply curious about humanity and the world within us. So, with that, can you share a moment or experience in your life that first sparked this curiosity for you?
Well, there's a few.
Okay.
Like I said, life is a process. So, and discovering yourself, and you discover more as you go along. And the most recent experience that I had was very profound. I believe I was after I was coming out of a procedure in surgery.
Okay.
And you know how, like, you're in the recuperating room. I don't know if you've ever been.
Yes, I've had
under anesthesia
too.
But when you come out, you start like envisioning things or seeing things or experiencing, kind of like a paranormal type of stuff. To give you an example, I saw a child who was coming, out of recovery, and he saw Jesus and his father. And it was like an experience for him that he was actually seeing, what he saw.
Wow.
So my experience was more with the self, my a conscious being in the cosmos, radiating love and wisdom.
Beautiful.
And I analyzing it, I discovered that's what Carl Jung called the self.
Okay.
The God within. So it was very shocking to me, because it was a place where it was like a nucleus, had like a nucleus, and then just radiating like a blue light, soft light, and it was just composed of love.
That's beautiful.
And it disclosed like the plans for humanity, what we need to do in order to evolve and become better. And then I asked, at that moment I asked, because I lost my father many years ago. I said, I would like to see my father. Am I in heaven or where am I? I'd like to see my father. The minute I said that, it was like my father was inside of my soul, and I felt all his love, all the love that he had for me. And then, I asked this consciousness, what do we need to do? What is it? Because love, yes, you've been teaching us the love, but how do we go about, what's the wisdom that we need in the world
Oh,
to transform ourselves? And everything was disclosed to me. It
mhm.
was like it's like a divine plan that has been progressing through the years
Mhm.
and through the beginning of time, and we're now at a point where we can actually mature as a species and
Right.
become whole. And because of all the abundance that we have, all the
Mhm.
knowledge, all the wisdom, so we're ready to
Yeah.
make the changes that we need to make, and we all know what needs to be done.
Right.
It's not like we need a God to tell us or anything else, but we go through science, and science is going to tell you, you're doing this to the earth,
Mhm.
and you need to rectify your ways. We're hurting each other. This is what we need to do. So all we need to do is to follow that and do
Yeah.
what is right, so we can evolve as a species. And then I saw flashes of light, and I put it on the book. I put this experience in the book where
Mhm.
I saw, like, it was like little hummingbirds
Okay.
coming and going from the nucleus, like downloading information, like
Mhm.
all the experiences that they had, or meaning like they needed to consult with this entity or this
Mhm.
consciousness so they could go back and do their job.
Right.
And it was, and you could see and you could understand what they were talking about and what these beings needed to understand. And I think that
Mhm.
was us, you know,
Mhm.
other people reaching out and trying to
Yeah.
understand what their life purpose is and what they
Yeah.
need to do next. And they were just coming and going from all over the place. And I guess I must have been one of those
Okay.
flashes of light. And then I just fell asleep or
Wow.
what have you. But that experience was very profound. And
Okay.
what I found is that I can tap into that consciousness anytime. And find my bearings and see if I'm on the right track, or
Okay.
if I'm developing properly, or if what I'm writing is right or wrong. And
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
but then I have other experiences. I've had many.
Yeah, no, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And
Yeah.
I, really love your approach to life and just connection. And I'm sorry about the loss that you had to experience as well. And, as we've been talking to, I know that there's like a lot going on right now. So, in a world marked by chaos, conflict, and violence, what question about humanity keeps returning to you the most?
Are we going to mature? Are we
Okay,
going to
what do you?
change?
Yeah, I'd love to hear
Are,
more
are we
about that. What do you
really,
mean?
are we really, really committed
Mm-hmm.
towards protecting our environment?
Mm-hmm.
Because, the earth is the only place we have, and we all know this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hurting it, and we're hurting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the time to play games and say that, oh, we're doing this and we're doing that. It's not enough. We
Mm-hmm.
got to do massive changes. We got to, I grew up here in South Florida, and I used to do a lot of snorkeling.
Okay.
And back in the 80s, when I came here, you go snorkeling, and the coral reefs were just impressive. They were
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And it was like a whole, forest down there full of fish, and the coral reefs were all over the place. And if you go now, it's all bleached. And it
Okay.
breaks my heart to see something like this, because one of the greatest joys of being alive is being able to enjoy the earth and
Right.
to have these experiences of beauty and wonder. And if we don't have that, we're destroying our very own nature, our very own soul, and the inspiration that comes from it. So we all understand it, but it's time to divert all the energy and the funds and the effort
Mm-hmm.
to that, without any questions of whether there's something going on or not going on, or whether global climate change is real, is not real. We know it's real
Right.
because we have experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to tell me whether, scientists don't need to go through all the all the science to tell me that it's real because we see it.
Right.
And so, that's one of the hopes that we mature enough to actually make the changes.
Yeah.
All the changes will be social,
Mhm.
economic, political changes. There's so many things. And we, like I said, we all know within our intuition
Mhm.
what is going on. We know that a wealth gap that is growing, that is so
Right.
large, is not healthy for anybody.
Mhm.
We know that materialism is driving people towards, being corrupt,
Mhm.
being, violent, being aggressive, being destructive. We know that our government is doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And with the government, I have a lot of views upon on that. And
Mhm.
one of the messages that I got is like humanity doesn't need a superpower to rule the world
Right.
anymore.
Right.
We should evolve to the point where we all work together to determine what needs to be done.
Right.
And that's one of the things that the United States of America hopefully can get to understand, that our leadership is not through military power or
Mhm.
economic power, but through the examples that we lead
Right.
the world and that
Yeah.
we help other nations, reach their prosperity so
Yeah.
that, we can unite as a species. And we have all the tools necessary to do
Mhm.
this. And if you go to countries that are underdeveloped,
Mhm.
you can help these nations and help themselves.
Uh-huh.
And the biggest tool that we have for that is capitalism.
Mhm.
So especially through manufacturing. So once you have some sort of security in these countries, you can introduce manufacturing, and those nations will grow and
Right.
flourish. And with all the automation that we have nowadays, it's not going to take them very long. As we
Right.
saw with China, the way it grew so fast,
Mhm.
in such a short time, which has never been seen in human history.
Mhm.
To go through an industrial revolution in 40 years is unheard
Right.
of.
Right.
So and look at the the success. You
Mhm.
know, so that's what the Americans should be doing. We should be trying to help other nations help
Mhm.
themselves and spread the prosperity. And these people will not be looking towards the United States, like migrating to the United States, because
Mhm.
why do they
Right.
come here? Why do migrants come here? They come here because there's no security within their
Mhm.
borders. There's no opportunities. They're
Yeah.
looking for something better. But they usually love their country. They don't want to leave. They
Mhm.
have their family there. They have their culture. They enjoy their music, their food.
Mhm.
So, if they're prosperous and they're safe in their nation, they're going to stay there.
Yeah.
And the biggest example that we could see nowadays, modern day example of that, is El Salvador.
Uh-huh.
So the place is safe. People are not migrating to the United States from El Salvador.
Mhm.
In actuality, the last time I heard the president, people are moving back and
Oh,
bringing
okay.
their wealth back.
Okay.
And because they have opportunities, they have safety, and they like their
Yeah.
people. So that's part of what I've realized is like a divine plan
Mhm.
to bring humanity closer,
No,
to spread prosperity around the world, and
yeah. No,
that's where we're at.
yeah, no, I really love that too. And I think that's so beautiful. And do you have hope that humanity can reach this maturity that you're thinking of? Like, do you see people having that potential to reach that?
Oh, I see so many people nowadays
Okay.
interested in deeper subjects,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about it. Even you go to Elon Musk. Elon Musk say, "Well, I don't see a sense. I don't see why there should be borders in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be. You should be free to go here and there or wherever you want. So people have this vision, and not just him, but we all know it because we've seen the Earth from outer space, and there's no borders there. We're one species. So we need, in order for us to achieve this, okay,
Okay.
which is which is really, a big task.
Right.
The most critical point in our development in the United States and in the world. We need to go through a process, which I studied a lot of Carl Jung, which is a Swiss psychologist, and his perspective on growth and maturity and wholeness. And he called the process of individuation, which in that process, one of the most important parts is to be able to integrate the shadow
Okay.
or the negative aspects or the dark side of ourselves, and not destroy it, but understand it to a level that we can harness their energy and use it for creative purposes. So we need to look into each culture, like the United States, for example. We have a shadow, a big shadow, where the United States is a very self-righteous nation. It's a very greedy nation. It's a nation that is projecting its negativity upon other nations and demanding that they do as we wish them to do because we have more power. And that's another aspect, which is the projection or making the other person the bad entity. And we need to study our culture and ourselves and understand the United States is not perfect. We have a lot of work to do,
Right.
and realize that all these social problems that we have, and drug problems and things like that we need to address. We need to heal ourselves. We need to look deep within our culture and our history,
Right.
and understand what our place is in the world,
Yeah.
as opposed to just having to grow bigger and bigger and get more power and more wealth, and think that is the most important thing,
Yeah.
in our nation. And it's not, because this nation was created with a divine purpose, and
Right.
that's the difference. This nation was created by people that saw themselves as the administrators of a divine plan upon earth. And it just wasn't a bunch of people that wanted to liberate themselves. They wanted to create something
Right.
that could propel humanity into a grand and breathtaking future, which we're very close to. And we need to understand that these people, the founding fathers of the United States, they put it in their symbols.
Okay.
That it was divine guidance, divine providence. He has smiled upon our accomplishments. It's all there. The ego coming down to the field of space and time. It represents God coming down to the field of space and time to help humanity grow and mature. So they understood these things. They were Gnostics, so they understood these things.
Right.
And they knew that God was helping them, because it goes back to what we talked about the divine plan. We're part of it.
Yeah.
And the divine plan is not for this nation to become, wealthier, more powerful, and self-righteous.
Right.
That's not it.
Right.
We're here to spread the prosperity, spread the love, spread the justice and freedom and equality throughout the world.
Yeah.
And we've moved away from that, and that is hurting us.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know you spoke about this a little before, but I'd like to talk with you more about your book. So, would you like to talk more about the book, The Modern Citizen, and what inspired you to write it? And what do you hope that people get out of it after reading it?
Okay, The Modern Citizen. I got a copy here.
Okay.
This is the book.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
And
love that. I love the artwork.
it's it was inspired by Well, I've been writing it for a long time, maybe
Okay.
20 years I started, and
Wow.
I
Okay.
got really to a point where I had given up on humanity and myself. I said,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way this is going to happen. There's no way that humanity is going to change. I'm
Uh-huh.
just dreaming. Just and I realized not too long ago that it doesn't really matter what happens as long
Okay.
as I do my part
Mm-hmm.
and I can live my a fulfilling life myself. Because
Okay.
if God put these messages or information within me and these gifts, I need to share it with the world.
Okay.
Because to keep it to myself is just going to destroy my life. And I was not in a very happy place
Mm-hmm.
where I just frustrated with my life and everything else. And I realized that once I started letting
Mm-hmm.
that out, it just changed my whole perspective in life completely. The
Mm-hmm.
book is mostly about it's called The Modern Citizen: The
Okay.
Spiritual Evolution of Humanity and How to Create a Better World.
Mm-hmm.
So it translates some of the occurrences in the world
Mm-hmm.
that have happened, like World War II, the creation of the United States, going to the
Okay.
moon, in spiritual terms,
Mm-hmm.
9/11,
Mm-hmm.
and not just the message, the obvious things, of World War II. Oh, we got to defeat evil. We got to defeat
Right.
Hitler, and no, but what were the messages? A message being delivered was, hey, you guys can unite.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually do it and come together and create a better race.
Uh-huh.
And then we formed the United Nations. And that was, if you read the goals of the United Nations, that's what it is, to spread the peace and prosperity around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But we did not listen. So we started going our own way,
Uh-huh.
building the nuclear arsenals and wasting all that money and all those resources and all that time,
Mm-hmm.
creating something that is counterproductive to the
Mm-hmm.
society. So, we went against the wishes of the world and humanity after this terrible, terrible war.
Uh-huh.
And what have we accomplished?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to look at. And then, some of the, I was born, and raised Catholic. So I have in the beginning, I have my interpretation of
Mm-hmm.
what Jesus' life was like and what he went through as a human.
Okay.
Because when you put Jesus in this pedestal as a person to worship instead of a
Mm-hmm.
person that you should follow,
Mm-hmm.
it changes the perspective. And I looked a lot in the life of Jesus and the process that he went through,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the process that Jung discovered that is called individuation,
Okay.
to discover the God within himself. That's what he did. That's what the Buddha did,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's what we all must do.
Yeah.
And all the information is out there in the internet and everywhere else. Another big influence of my life was Joseph Campbell.
Okay.
Joseph Campbell, when my father passed away, which
Mm-hmm.
was sudden, and it shocked me to the core, and it really destroyed me
Yeah.
completely. I was 21 years old, and I was not in a good place. I was very, very depressed,
Yeah.
and my family moved back to my native country, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't stand it there.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it. I couldn't stand it there. So, one day I came to the United States. I realized, my father had left me an apartment in
Mm-hmm.
Florida, and I came here by myself. And then, out of I don't know where, but the book, The Power of Myth,
Mm-hmm.
I saw it and started reading it, and it just caught my attention. And it
Okay.
started helping me make sense of everything that was going on within my life.
Right.
And from then on, I started reading for, my father left me some, not a lot of money, but some money and an apartment. I read, it must have been for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would just, get little odd jobs and just read and read and read all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And everything by Joseph Campbell, Carl Jung, Peter F. Drucker, which is like the father of management,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other other books. Some of the older classics and stuff like that. But we build upon the knowledge of those who have come before us. So
Right.
when we talk about life and death, I explain that in the book. It's you know those who have passed away that have left some information and knowledge and wisdom behind. We build on that,
Mm-hmm.
and they feed us, and we can grow and mature through their life experiences.
Right.
And the Martin Luther Kings, the Kennedys,
Mm-hmm.
Gandhi, the Buddha, Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad, everybody, we learn from them, and we grow and mature.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how life and death works.
Right.
And then I go through uh, some other things, and the process of individuation, my shadows,
Mm-hmm.
and materialism, and then how to become a modern citizen, which is what we
Okay.
want to do. And the
Right.
way that Carl Jung described a modern citizen was a person that stands up on a peak,
Uh-huh.
where you can see standing upon a peak here,
Oh, okay, I love that.
and the abyss of the future before him, above him the heavens,
Mm-hmm.
and then below the history of mankind, which disappears in primeval mists.
Okay.
And the modern man is a person that is completely aware of the present and their existence on this
Mm-hmm.
earth. So, what people are going to get from the book is to be aware and
Okay.
to be present and to understand what their purpose in life is, why they're here,
Mm-hmm.
or at least to help them get started on that journey so
Right.
that they can understand that they're not just here as a physical being, hopelessly being guided by society or the
Mm-hmm.
government or economics, but they are truly inspirational and creative entities upon this earth, which we need.
Right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And,
Thank you.
no, I love that journey that you had just writing the book. And yeah, it sounds like you were working on it for quite a while. So, what made you decide that it was finally finished and ready to share with the world? Like, what was that moment where you're like, okay, I feel like this book is ready to be put out there?
That, to me, it was a moment of desperation.
Oh,
To tell
okay.
you the truth,
Okay.
I cannot keep all this stuff within
Right.
myself any longer. It was
Mm-hmm.
making my life miserable and destroying me.
Uh-huh.
So I put in a lot of time just to concentrate to finish the book.
Mm-hmm.
I also had a chance where I moved from my apartment not too long
Okay.
ago, and it kind of awakened me because I was living in that place for a very long time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
an apartment that I inherited from my father. Lived there for 45 years, and you know I needed that change. So my wife got very ill, and then we decided just to move and sell and take a risk.
Okay.
And that risk, at least in my psychological perspective, it made a lot of sense
Mm-hmm.
because I started writing again. I started reading. I started thinking about things that I had forgotten about. And it was such a rush of information and everything else
Mm.
that, it took me like a month to write the book.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it was just, a rush of creative, ideas that came to me. And
Mm-hmm.
I put them down, and thank God, with the help of AI, I could do the editing and everything
Right.
else, which was great. And did some the book cover with outsource it, and that was it. it's out there. I still doing promotion on it, and if somebody wants to read it, can't afford it, or don't want to, I give it away for free. If you send me an email, I'll
Okay.
send it for free. There's no,
Oh, that's wonderful.
I'm not gonna get rich out of selling the
That's
book.
really
I
kind and
don't,
generous of
it's
you,
just,
though. That's really cool.
yeah, it's just, it's, I don't know. I'm happy because I'm doing, what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's made a big difference in my life.
Yeah.
And, we'll see what happens. I think, if the United States can get
Mm-hmm.
their bearings and understand their place in this world,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see some great changes
Mm-hmm.
come about, as opposed to fighting amongst each other to determine, who is right, who
Right.
has more, who wins. That is an old world
Right.
that is dying and it needs to die.
Right.
So that old mentality and that materialistic mentality
Mm-hmm.
needs to die before the new can grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the law of nature. The old must die so that the new can flourish.
Right.
So what we're seeing with all this chaos, confusion, and violence, and and this union in
Mm-hmm.
this country, it's all part of the plan to make us realize that we need to change.
Uh-huh.
And people you ask, they know that we need to unite as a nation so we can make the necessary changes, so we can fight government corruption, and
Mm-hmm.
fight these big pharma and the healthcare industry and the food industry, which are hurting us. I mean,
Right.
these people should be giving us healthy, natural food to nourish our bodies.
Right.
It's not about the money. It's not. It's about serving your society, serving your people. It's not about you, making money. I'm sorry, but
Right.
you're hurting you. You're killing people for what?
Mm-hmm.
So you can get wealthy. What is that? I mean,
Right.
that's prehistoric to me.
Right.
We need to move on and realize that you're there to serve humanity, and the money that you have doesn't belong to you. It belongs
Mm-hmm.
to us. We're giving it to you because we trust
Yeah.
you, because we
Right.
cherish you, because we want you to do good for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The wealthy here, their money doesn't belong to them. They got it from us.
Right. Right.
And they need to realize that they have a big responsibility towards, their countrymen,
Uh-huh.
towards humanity. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not so you can buy, another $200 million yacht and,
Right.
$4 or $5 million watch. And we don't, we do not, that's not something that we cherish anymore.
Mm-hmm.
As a nation, we should look to see what you're contributing
Right.
to
Right.
the benefit of the environment and your society.
Yeah.
And then we're going to love you even more, and we're going to give you even more of our money.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to be responsible about it, and we need to change their mindset.
Right. Right.
First of all, by reason, like I'm saying, by motivating very
Mm-hmm.
wealthy individuals to look beyond themselves and give more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you saw the speech last night and in the news,
Mm-hmm.
the State of the Union, but Trump pointed out the owner of Dell Computers, which he
Okay.
donated $6.5 billion
Mm-hmm.
to this program, so kids can have an IRA investment account, below the age of 10.
Okay.
But that's a contribution. That's a big contribution to society,
Mm-hmm.
because these kids are going to be able to have a decent amount of money by the time they become 20, 30, 25, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And they might be able to have some money to put a down payment for a house and stuff like that. So to be able to contribute like that to the society, that's what helps us evolve,
Mm-hmm.
and break away from our dependency or worshiping all these material possessions.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's we'll be surprised how things change quickly.
Okay. No, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And just a little bit about myself too. Like I've been like thinking a lot about my own faith and like relationship to the divine. So, I'd love to hear more about this. So you write about messages from the divine that humanity has failed to interpret. So what do you think that we misunderstand and what are we being asked to understand now?
We don't see the signs. We
Okay.
need to interpret the signs properly.
Mm-hmm.
And when 9/11 happened,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of information that was coming out on the internet was about numerology.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and the number 9, the number 11, how the towers look like an 11, and the letters
Right.
of the president, and the passengers on the plane, the flight numbers.
Mm-hmm.
There was so many coincidences that
Okay.
makes one realize this is not a coincidence.
Mm.
This is a message,
Mm-hmm.
and the message is a transformation, a renewal, you know, a transformation of our way of thinking, our way of behaving, or a wake up call for
Right.
us, and you can look it up on the internet, or you can look it up in numerology books, and it's going to tell you how it is. All throughout history has been a number associated with that,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people say, "Oh, that's just hearsay, numerology, and this and that." Well, tell that to the founding fathers,
Mm-hmm.
which used numerology to transcribe their message in our
Mm-hmm.
symbols. So talk to them and see if it's true or not. So we need to be able to read the signs of what is the divine trying to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've done that throughout my life, my whole entire life, and in the book it's there
Okay.
where I've had even tiny experiences that might seem a little insignificant to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, but when you think about it, you say, well, maybe God is trying to tell me something, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And there's quite a few experiences there. To give you an example, the most recent one was when, we lost our dog.
Okay.
And it was very painful,
Right.
and then 2 years later, we moved to another place, and there was a lot of people with a lot of dogs, and we felt really sad. I said to my wife, "We need a dog."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Well, it needs to be a rescue dog." I said, "Okay, well, it needs to be a Schnauzer, which
Okay.
is the dog that we had before. So it needs to be okay, but it needs to be a patty Schnauzer with spots and this and that, and it needs to be a girl. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want the ears to be trimmed. I don't want this. I don't want." I said, "Listen, you want to rescue? You want to find a rescue dog like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's almost impossible. Not just only just to find a mini Schnauzer in a rescue. We looked around everywhere."
Okay.
And one day she was looking at the rescue, and there she was.
Oh, wow.
Naya.
Okay, that's
So Naya came
wow.
along, and we named her Naya because it's Naya means like a gift from God, or
Okay.
a God has answered your prayers.
Uh-huh.
And I've talked to a lot of people in the park, and they've had similar experiences
Mm-hmm.
where they got exactly what they were looking for.
Wow,
And
that's amazing though. Just like
that's how
very
life is.
specific, right?
Oh
No,
no,
that's
but that's
beautiful.
how life is, and
Yeah.
and it'll show you so many great things about yourself, and
Wow.
and the mystery of being alive.
Okay.
Because it's the greatest mystery of all, and we
Right.
seem to think that, oh, there's mystery in the universe, there's mystery in the pyramids. The greatest mystery ever is us.
Yeah.
To be here alive on this earth right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah.
And you start pondering that and thinking about that, and you say, wow,
Mm-hmm.
you can't grasp it. And then you start looking within yourself,
Right.
and that inner universe is infinite as the universe itself. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing, and we can tap into all those powers and all those beliefs and transform the world into whatever we want it to be.
Yeah.
Because if you look outside right now and all the buildings and all the roads and everything else, we created all that. Why can't we create something even better?
Yeah.
Everything comes from the human imagination from in here, and
Uh-huh.
it projects outside. So it's a lot of people that say, "Oh, it's not possible." Yes, it is, because look what we created so far, and in such a short time too.
Right.
So, it's that's what brings me hope, and I admire humanity for everything that it has achieved, and it hurts me to see what we're doing to each other. It's
Yeah.
really painful, to watch these kids in Palestine, and I saw on
Right.
my social media, crying and dying, and kids should not be going through this,
Right.
and we should protect them. We should protect children. They should be living happy lives and running around and enjoying the earth, and that's it's just what we created is it's shameful. And I think we need to stand up to whatever forces are destroying our humanity, and put an end to it and stop it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
right.
no matter what it takes, it needs to stop.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And something that I want to do with this podcast is like really inspire my listeners to like take action in their own communities and like just that agency, like having them being able to like make a difference as well. So, I'd love to hear from you, like what you hope the listeners will get out from this conversation. So, if listeners could take one question with them after this conversation, one question that they can really sit with, what would it be?
This process of awakening that I hear a lot about, that people are becoming more conscious and
Mhm.
awake to what's going on around the world,
Mhm.
and discussing it like we are right now,
Mhm.
is not a joke, is not something to be taken lightly,
Okay.
is real, and we need to take action. Because if we don't do anything with all that knowledge and all that information or all that consciousness and awareness that we have, it's going to destroy us. We need to use it, and we need
Mhm.
to find within ourselves the courage to make the changes that need to be
Right.
made. The actual changes, not just the internal changes within ourselves. Once we
Mhm.
work on ourselves and do it, it needs to come out, and it needs to make changes to the society and to the world.
Mhm.
And that's where we are today, because no matter how awake or how conscious you are about the earth and the future and yourself and everything else, if we don't put in the effort
Yeah.
and make the changes that need to be made,
Uh-huh.
nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to people who feel like hopeless or like overwhelmed about making change, though? Because I've done community work for most of my life too, and I do realize that
Mhm.
it's heavy. But yeah, what can you tell people who like feel like they can't make a difference, or yeah, like even making
That,
changes
that,
in
that, that,
themselves?
that, that's your young would have said that's your shadow talking. That's a
Okay.
negative aspect of yourself. Your
Right.
maybe low self-esteem, or
Mm.
you're going through confusion about yourself. But when you realize that the
Yeah.
creator is within you,
Mm-hmm.
and you believe that truly,
Mm-hmm.
you find the courage and you find the motivation to do what it is that you want to do and need to do. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the most important thing that I found, that it doesn't matter, with that experience that I have had of the conscious sphere and the
Mm-hmm.
center of the universe and everything else. It let me know that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That my fear was like, okay, I'm gonna be talking about some things that might get a lot of people, powerful people, angry, and if people
Mm.
start listening to me, if I have some actual authority and I'm able to make changes, they might want to take me out. And that's one of the things that I was like afraid of,
Right.
you know, like what happened to Charlie Kirk, they might blow my brains out. And what I got from there is like, it's okay because I know where I'm going and I
Yeah.
have no fear. I have
Right.
no fear because I know where I'm going. And it's such a blissful and beautiful place. And you can
Right.
see everything in the universe, how it's unfolding and growing and evolving. And it's such a beautiful experience. And you could just sit there and watch it, your whole life.
Okay.
And it's such a beautiful, wonderful message and plan, the perfection of that plan. And you just, at that moment, you could see it unfolding. And it's okay, whatever happens. And,
Right.
um, and yeah, I mean, we need to find within ourselves that courage.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's like beautiful to hear. But like what helps you to get that courage though? And like because I know you also talked about hope as well, but I think it's just so inspiring like to, talk about like what gave you that courage. Like where do you think other people can find that courage as well?
No, that courage, I
Okay.
was always a very shy individual
Mm-hmm.
and, about my feelings and everything else. But
Okay.
and my ideas especially, and
Mm-hmm.
and I realized, through Joseph Campbell, which
Okay.
he has also a roadmap,
Mm-hmm.
which is called, the hero's journey.
Okay.
Now, you might have heard of it. He inspired, George Lucas to write Star Wars,
Okay.
and a lot of people have used it also when they wrote The Matrix, and they use that model of the
Mm.
hero, to write these movies,
Right.
and they catch the attention of a lot of people. But it's an actual journey to take, within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and find that, that courage and that calling.
Mm-hmm.
He calls it a call. When the call comes, you must answer it and follow it.
Right.
And that's what I did my whole
Okay.
life. And, without regard of whatever happened to me, or,
Wow.
if I make it, if I don't make it, I don't, I'm just going to follow my inner being wherever it takes
That's
me.
beautiful.
And you know, lately when I was like writing the book and thinking about these things, and, maybe I shouldn't say certain things, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe what should I do? And looking through one of Joseph Campbell's books, it talks about the refusal of the call, where you
Okay.
refuse your duties, your towards humanity
Mm-hmm.
and towards yourself and
Okay.
towards God,
Okay.
and that is a living hell. And it's, to me, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like an idea. It's psychological, constant psychological torture
Mm-hmm.
and unhappiness, and
Right.
you don't find a way out. And that was one of my greatest motivator, my fear. And in
Mm.
the church, in the Bible, they call it fear of the Lord.
Okay.
Fear God, fear the Lord. Well, I'm afraid of God
Mm-hmm.
because God holds, the key to the world,
Mm-hmm.
between the door between the world of sanity and insanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm afraid. And that was a great motivator where, even Martin Luther King in his declarations, he talks about fear and normal fear and fear that paralyzes you.
Mm-hmm.
And, the fear that helps you to evolve and
Mm-hmm.
become, who you're supposed to be. And you need to learn from it and grow
Okay.
from that. But to me, that was a big thing for me to realize that you're
Mm.
never going to be happy unless you follow that calling that you have.
Right.
And yeah, I gave myself up to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I can do. if it was up to me, I'll be out there fishing all day long and night, and
Right.
you know, I'll go to the gym and watch movies, or
Right.
enjoy the family and do nothing with my life. I can't. My
Yeah.
soul doesn't let me. It doesn't
No.
allow me to do that,
No. I know what you mean. I find that
and I
appealing
hate
too,
it.
though.
To me, it's torture. It's like,
Right.
if you're not doing something creative, you don't feel well.
Yeah. No,
You know?
I get that same way too. I find that really appealing to do nothing though, but I can't sit still either.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
you know, if it was up to me, I wouldn't do anything. But
Yeah.
being human carries with it a certain responsibilities.
Right.
And
Right.
if you say no to God, you're not, you
Hmm.
say no to yourself. You're not saying no to humanity.
Right.
And that's not living. That's dying.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it's a wonderful journey. Life is, you learn so much as you go along about
Yeah.
yourself and about the world. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful
Right.
when you see everything unfolding,
Hmm.
and not just the like, so many people look and have exterior goals in
Hmm.
life, and economic goals, and things like having family and having this and having that, and it's just, it's free flowing. Life is free flowing. You're supposed
Right.
to enjoy yourself and see the divine
Hmm.
in the world,
Yeah.
to actually see it. I put a little TikTok video,
Hmm.
which a lot of kids liked. It was on how to interpret, heaven on earth.
Mm.
Like from the Bible, they tell you, well, when humanity is going to be replaced by a perfect race, and
Mm.
streets of gold and buildings, precious
Hmm.
jewel buildings, are going to come down to
Hmm.
replace our synthetic cities, and it's going to look beautiful. And
Right.
when you look at night, from an airplane or from an apartment building
Yeah.
at the city,
Hmm.
and all the city lights, make the streets look like they're silver, gold and
Hmm.
silver,
Hmm.
and the buildings are made of precious jewels. It's here.
Yeah.
The kingdom of earth is the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth.
Right.
We
Right.
just need to be able to see it. And
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
it's the old saying, and it's true.
Right.
And when you live your life like that, it's very rewarding,
Hmm.
to be able to see that happening, and the messages that come and
Right.
and and, and inform you. The young call them synchronicities,
Hmm.
where they affirm that you are doing the right thing, that you're in the right place at the right time, and so on and so forth. So those synchronicities are wonderful, and they come about,
Yeah.
and you understand, hey, I'm doing the
Hmm.
right thing, and
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's so beautiful. As I mentioned to you before, I think your approach to life and just how you see things is so beautiful. And thank you so much for your time. I had such a wonderful time talking with you. And just lastly, how can people find you if they'd like to connect with you?
You can send me an email at
Okay.
the Paraclete9 at
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way. I'm still working on my website and social media.
Okay.
Instagram is Paraclete Publishing is
Mm-hmm.
the social media page. Instagram,
Okay.
and also in TikTok, it's Paraclete Publishing. But to buy the book, you can buy it at Amazon,
Okay.
KDP,
Mm-hmm.
and it's available in English and in Spanish.
Okay.
And I'm still working on the audiobook. I'm trying to see how
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get that done, but I want to do an audiobook as well.
Okay, no, wonderful. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. And yeah, thank you again. And I really do truly wish you all the best moving forward. And, I hope that you can continue putting out like beauty and inspiration because I really do think that, you're such a beautiful person. And I think you can inspire
Thank,
so many people. Yeah.
thank you, thank you, thank you, and I really appreciate the
Hmm.
support.
Yeah.
I didn't believe many people would take it so nicely, the things that need to be said. And
Yeah.
and I'm really grateful for people like you doing and having me on your show and
Yeah.
helping me get the message out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course. And I hope we stay connected. And I hope that you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, send me an email. I'll send you the book.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
no, of course. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you for being here and tuning in to Voices That Propel Us, stories of justice, action, and community. Your presence in this movement matters. If today's conversation moved you, share it, talk about it, and keep the work going. Together, we're not just imagining change, we're making it. Until next time, stay bold, stay grounded, and stay in the fight.
Every time I feel so mad and sad and bad, I say to myself, relax, lean back, it's a brand new day. And every time I feel so down that a frown is all that's on my face, I remind myself to take a breath, it's a brand new day.